So I really wanted to know how the Steam Deck felt in my hands. Got one 3D printed. Let's take a look at it. So here it is. The Steam Deck. It's a rough 3D print. A couple parts, yeah, I could have them on a little bit better. But it gives you an idea and you know how it's going to feel in your hands. So the first thing that I wanted to try is everyone's main complaint about the thumbstick location. And I can tell you, this thumbstick location is perfectly fine. I don't have any feelings that it's in a bad position. D-pad feels fine as well. The only thing that I think is a problem is this B button that's all the way off to the side. If you're using it and using the top shoulder button, you're really kind of in the same area. And then up here it's fine, but it's that B button that it is relatively close. With these back buttons right here, it is a little bit difficult when you're gripping. If you grip too tight, you're going to be basically gripping into the device. But ergonomically, these joysticks, I was a big complainer about it. A lot of people didn't like it, but I can tell you right now, don't worry about it. It's going to be just fine. The pad here, if you notice, if you're using the shoulder buttons, it's a little bit of an awkward position. I wouldn't want to be playing a game too long using this pad. You'd have to kind of readjust your hand down. But as far as any kind of shooter, you're going to be just fine. Once again, same thing with this pad on this side. So let's take a comparison against other devices. Closest devices right now that are on the market similar to this device are going to be the Aya Neo, which is a pretty similar dimension. These both have 7-inch screens. This one is a little bit thinner. I do have the additional grips because otherwise the Neo doesn't contain any grips. But there's your dimensions right there. It's very similar to that. Weight-wise is probably spot on to the Aya Neo. So this is going to be, if you have an Aya Neo, it's going to be the closest thing to having a Steam Deck. The other device similar to it on the market right now is the 1X player, which is almost the same dimensions. However, the 1X player has an 8.4-inch screen where you get the 7-inch screen on the Steam Deck. But it is of similar dimensions, although this is going to be a little bit heavier. One thing you'll notice about the Aya Neo and the 1X player is how thick they are, and that thickness is going to stay true on the Steam Deck as well. Comparison a lot of people are going to want to see is the Nintendo Switch, and the Switch is quite a bit smaller. And quite a bit thinner, as you can see as well. But this is going to feel better in the hands actually than the Switch does, because the Switch doesn't have any kind of grip. The closest I can tell you is if you had two left Joy-Cons, that's going to be the closest feel that you get on the Steam Deck with that joystick there. Ridiculous size comparisons. How about looking at a Game Boy Micro? Yes, it's going to be quite a bit bigger than a Micro. Our current, what I recommend currently, the 351V is quite a bit smaller as well. If you're in the market, this is the best handheld, I think, from the emulators that come out of China. Highly recommend it. Here's a Neo Geo Pocket Color in between there, and a Game Boy Advance, also quite a bit smaller. But the one thing about it, definitely don't be worried about the ergonomics of those joysticks. Another close comparison is the Atari Lynx. That really has the same kind of size feel. Game Gear is quite a bit smaller, which in its time this was a beast, and so is this one. So yeah, so there it is. If you have any questions, go ahead and put one in the comments. I'll be happy to answer it. If you follow me on Instagram, I did an Instagram Live, and that's up already if you wanted to view that, where a couple people asked me some questions. But overall, I'm quite happy with the feel of this device. I really am. It's you know, quite a bit better than I anticipated. So it is big, chunky, and actually comfortable. Other than my one concern, this B button has always been a concern for everybody, and this pad just seems a little bit too low. But really looking forward to it. Got my reservation in. I don't know who else does that follows. It looks like not a lot of sales of it, but if you did, we only got 6 months to go. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.